Welcome to the next episode of Revolutionary Talk. We're on to our next type of meditation, which is Moon-Based Meditation. And we have a couple of types to get into here, but we're combining into one episode. Where to start with this, Chris?
The moon. The new moon is the spot to start with this because, the new moon is the cycle that really fuels this whole new moon or moon meditation. Do you guys want more specifics?
Yeah, go down the rabbit hole.
Let's go down the rabbit hole. So essentially the moon is a 30-day cycle that if you're spiritual or into maybe like astronomy or astrology aspects, it gives you a foundation to create intentions on and travel through these 30 days to see if you can manifest those intentions, and if you do or don't, what you learn from it and reflect on it for the next moon cycle. And essentially there's 12 moon cycles in 1 year. So in a year you learn this, but each moon is like a checkpoint or a milestone for your journey for the year. But it's all just built around setting simple intentions and really meditating on those and bringing them into fruition of reality. Mm-hmm. Glad we recorded that.
That was flawless. I like it too, as I'm very calendar based. I like to achieve things by certain days. So like focusing on a moon cycle, it's a good way for that.
And it gives you short-term, the power of it, I think, is really the short-term goals to, all right, I want this, subconsciously wire it, and then get going after it. And you only have, so long, but you can be pretty ambitious. But then if you learn to stack them per moon, you can continually get to where you're going over 12 steps instead of one, like, I want to do this in 1 year.
Right.
Like a 1 year goal is hard, but I think if you focus on every 30 days, it gives you a lot better chance of like, all right, what's the one piece realistically I can do this month to get me closer to that bigger goal, maybe 5 years down the road?
Consistency.
Yeah, and it really does. It really helps you. And then you have, like I said, you're instantly like, it's on your mind once you create the intention.
Yeah.
Totally. What experience do you have with it, Kristen?
Well, I'm thinking, as you're talking about that, I'm taking the other angle. I'm like thinking yin yoga and like just very low to the earth kind of movement, and just reaping regaining your energy back that way, especially during, the phases of the moon really impact our bodies. A full moon, it's very common to have all these crazy things happen around a full moon.
And you even weigh more during a full moon, and the waves are higher due to the gravitational pull and push.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, if the moon's able to affect the oceans, like
psychologically,
it's definitely affecting us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
because we're mostly made out of water.
Yeah,
so.
60-75%.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's crazy. So we could hop over now to talk about the other moon-based meditation, which is full moon, right? So new moon starts the cycle.
New moon.
So how do you meditate on?
So new moon's all about setting an intention and creating something new. It's a new beginning. So it's a blank slate, and then as your full moon comes around, full moon's more based on meditating on reflecting, being grateful for what did manifest from your new moon intentions, but then also taking time to reflect on if you did get it, what did you do to manifest it? What were those actions, positively reinforcing your journey there? But also if you didn't manifest it, like maybe reflecting on why it wasn't in alignment with you, what actions could you have taken? Did you maybe not create the actions and just have the thought? It's really a time just to like fully, view everything, and then
reflection.
Yeah, and then it creates like the full reflection for the next 15 days till the next new moon to really like bring everything full circle on your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's overlooked, the reflection side of things. Sure. We're always like setting new goals and like never looking back and seeing how or why we did or didn't get there.
Yeah, or the result of an action or decision that we took or that somebody else took. It's interesting to
Yeah, and I think reflection is the biggest part of the process. Like you said, that people overlook, but it's the most powerful because we can always set new intentions and we're always so eager to move forward. But if you didn't learn your lessons and you're constantly making the same mistake, you're never really moving forward. You're running. So
And you're just going to keep repeating those same mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like stubbing your toe over and over again on the same thing until you realize like what mistake you're making. Like why are you continually stubbing your toe?
for sure.
Becoming aware of it, that's, then you can realize like, okay, this is what I'm going to do to avoid that.
Yeah, and it's learn from lessons.
Break the cycle.
Which I mean is its own part of like if you failed at a new moon manifestation, the reflection is huge of why didn't I get it? Cool. Instead of guessing why I didn't get it, you can look back and say, well, it's pretty obvious. And then the next one comes around. Now look how much you've learned. And that's kind of something in entrepreneurship they tell us over and over again, both of you guys, is like, fail big. Like dream big, fall flat on your face. Now you have every answer of why it didn't work, or you'll continually find those answers to get to that destination.
Failure is your teacher.
For sure.
Absolutely. That is accurate. So now where the meditation comes into play is what I'm curious about. How do you two set up meditation during these times? Is it just, is there a certain practice to get you there to focus on these things, or how does that work?
My practice for a new moon is bigger than my full moon. So new moon, I'll sage the room, and then I'll create my space, I'll sage the room, and then connect with my heart and my stomach, breathe, and clear my mind. Because like you said earlier, if your thoughts are all over the place and you're thinking about a lot, if you're creating intentions to manifest, those are going to sneak in, and it can get super tricky sometimes. So my whole thing is clear space, get a peace of mind, then write down like, during this new moon, I am manifesting this for, to bring fruition, these manifestations to reality. May they manifest best for those or myself involved. There's some kind of specific phrase I use. Then below that, I'll do 10 or up to 10 and write, I am manifesting, and be as specific as possible so there's less chance of any variation. And then at the end of the month, I'll open that book up again and be like, oh, it's crazy. And then, after a couple days in on the meditation, I'll also realize like, oh my God, like that actually manifested.
Wow.
And it's so redundant.
Yeah, actually, those are really good tips because I need to practice them. I don't particularly have a really solid practice around.
But you probably do it subconsciously though. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
That's what I realized.
Yeah.
Like now that I see the moon and I know when they are and the cycles are, I'm very aware of it. But it's also before, it would be like subconsciously, I think like, I really want this to happen. I really want this to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then that's where I was getting the mix of like the negative thoughts that were manifesting with it. So I mean, the key is clearing your mind.
Yeah. And now that I think of it, it almost never fails that around the time of a full moon, I'm waking up earlier and like wanting to spend more time with myself just to think. And it's really interesting. And for some reason too, I always wake up earlier. Like my body wants to give me more time.
Well, energy levels are way higher during a full moon too, because it's
I believe that.
It's the gravitational effect on like your catecholamines, your dopamine, your serotonin, like all that's heightened. And in hospitals, we'd see like you'd never want to work a full moon night shift. Like it's so true.
My wife always says that.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens. So I mean, full moons are very powerful. So.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, new moons are very soft energy, but it gives you that fresh start. So
awesome. Any final tips? Something that comes to mind is journaling. I don't know if that's either one of yours, but actually recording these things and having something to reflect on a full moon. But anything else?
I mean, that's what I do essentially for the new moon is I have my journal and I'm writing out these 10 things. And like I said, close that book. And then, full moon comes around or end of the month. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. But yeah, like writing, at least having something to go back on to see and reflect on to see what you wrote down and did it come, to fruition. And the whole concept too is to just put it away and let it go. Because as soon as you do that, and that's something I didn't touch on, was really meditating on each of these manifestations one by one, because then you can feel it and you feel it with your heart and you really grow into it, then you let it go, and then to really let it go, close the book, put it down, come back a month later and be like, holy shit, like, that manifested. It's crazy. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think it creates a believer in the process.
I think he covered it all.
He
so
did. He really did. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Good job, Chris. Awesome. So we highly recommend you try all of this out. Thank you, Chris, for the knowledge bombs. Stay
welcome.
tuned next week for a new episode of Revolutionary Talk, and we appreciate you watching today.
See ya.